Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Swan Song. So I woke up quite early today, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do some Swan Song. So yeah, here I am. As you all know, the reason why there hasn't been any Swan Song the past couple of days is because, you know how it is. PSO2, always taking my time. And PSO2 is crazy. It's taking over all my life. In a good way though. I haven't had this much fun in a game in quite a long time. It's also a lot of fun just playing with my friends. Like, I guess MMOs is one of those games where you still get carried by your friends a lot, but it's still pretty fun because you can just dick around and stuff in the game. But enough about PSO2. I know it feels like I'm always praising PSO2, giving it some advertisement or something in my videos. But it's because I really enjoy playing the game. So, yeah. Let's continue where we left off. We are at Yuka's perspective. I think this was after I said Yuka was becoming redundant. But I might be able to finish up the VN today here. Like, listening to the soundtrack right now, it looks like everything is just gonna wrap up nicely just because Tanomura is alive. Our lives change in the blink of an eye. I may be exaggerating if I call it a reign of terror or militarism, but that was the atmosphere at the school before. We were scared of our enemies, so the armed vigilante corps was the most important thing to us. The most important thing to us. And thank you, Kurumi, for telling me that I was skipping the text a bit too fast. I do apologize. At the start of the last video, it was indeed like I went over it and you were right. It was really fast. I was skipping the text quite fast. But that was because I didn't know which one was new text and which one was not, so I was really skimming through. I do apologize. It shouldn't be that bad now, considering I'm voicing over the dialogue. But they were imposing and scary, and it seemed like everyone was living quietly. But the gloomy atmosphere disappeared like ice in hot water when Tanomura-san and the others returned. People were living on the other side of the mountain, and their emissaries came, wanting to cooperate with us. This town was so alone that we thought everybody else in this world had died. But someone from the outside world came. We now know that we're not the only ones living in this world. This fact freed us from our cramped world. It seems everybody at the school has new hope in their hearts. The people of the Daichi Society who came to the school recently are living with us now. There are lots of grudges, and I'm sure it'll be hard in the beginning. But talking to them revealed that they're only scared of the situation, just like the people here. Everyone is much gentler than I thought, so it makes me think we'll manage. We have a different leader now. I heard that the story that Tanomura-san killed Hida-san was a mistake, so the Vigilante Corps were disbanded, and their leader, Kuwagata-san, is under probation. Their fates haven't been decided yet, but I'm sure it will be the right choice if Tanomura-san is overseeing the decision. The one who came from the neighboring town, Honda-san, is managing us for the time being, but it seems that Tanomura-san will be taking over the leader position again. With all the chaos settled for the time being, we gathered at the corner of the gym that night and celebrated our reunion over alcohol.
本当になれるかはわからないけど、もし機会があれば、今度はもっとうまくやれると思うよ。
Tanomura-san's face is red from the alcohol. His words are firm, and he looks much more reliable than before. Amako-san has been restless during the party. I get an idea why, so I urge him, and he happily heads off to the music room. Hibari insults him as he leaves, but Amako-san only smiles and still leaves. But was he the kind of person who would smile at a time like this? It seems Hibari is much nicer than before, and Aroe-chan is more cute. It seems everybody has gotten stronger during the time I haven't seen them. The atmosphere at the school changed. Everybody changed. And I feel strange as if everybody established a lead over me.
Sasaki-san?
It seems I got drunk and fell asleep. I wake up because someone's calling my name. My body feels heavy because there are many blankets over me. I won't catch a cold even if they don't put this many blankets over me. I thought I had slept until morning, but it's still night. The one who woke me up is a woman who I always cook and do chores with.
どうしました?
She says that the dogs are fighting, so they want me to stop them. I certainly do hear dogs barking outside.
私は別に犬の係ってわけじゃ。
But come to think of it, I always feed them, so I must look like I'm in charge of the dogs. It feels weird because I don't like dogs at all. I sigh and put on my coat. This is my only good coat, so it's worn out. I'll have to go get a worker's coat like everybody else. I go outside with the woman. It's piercing cold, and it seems to be closer to dawn than midnight.
ごめんなさいね。うちの子が犬がうるさくて眠れないって騒ぐものだから。
She sounds apologetic, so I smile back at her. Okay, I was waiting for them to stop. I thought they weren't gonna stop. It doesn't seem like the dogs are fighting. They're barking loudly, but none of them are biting each other. They're barking into the air, and even the usually quiet dogs are barking too.
今日は満月なのかしら。
え？
だって満月に犬は吠えるんじゃないですか？
それは狼じゃなかったですか?
Yeah, it's supposed to be wolves. I don't know if I'm right or not. I look up at the sky, but I can't see the moon because the thick clouds are covering my view. But the dogs are barking together, so a superstitious reason explains the situation perfectly. I don't know any special ways to calm down the dogs. They don't even look when I try to feed them. For someone who hates dogs like me, it takes a lot of courage, but I manage to pat them, and they still don't calm down. People say animals can predict a natural disaster, and it just may be true. Right when I was about to give up, an earthquake struck. Okay, so this happened in the normal route, but during this time we were actually fighting together. The Daichi Society and everyone that was like in rebellion in the Vigilante Corps or at the shelter were fighting the Vigilante Corps. It was a small tremor at first, but when I started hearing screams, the shaking suddenly got worse. I'm in a different situation, so I can't compare it to the previous earthquake. But it was so terrible that I thought about comparing them. Of course, I can't stay standing. My body rolls in the snow like a toy. I can't even look around to see what's going on. I can only shrink my body and listen to the sounds of concrete collapsing, dogs barking, and people screaming. I must be used to it this time, as this earthquake feels shorter. When the previous earthquake occurred, I thought it would last forever. I get up and see the scenery of the town along with the brightness of the snow. It's the same scenery of rubble and snow, but it seems more rounded now. I think the buildings collapsed and the town lost its height. I help the woman lying beside me get up. She has twisted her ankle and has scratches, but she looks fine. I can't quickly check on all the dogs, but they all look fine. The gym is still standing, but a lot of the school building has collapsed. I get uneasy. From the looks of it, several people sleeping in the school building must have died. Oh, crap. And Amako-san may be in the music room. I part with the woman who's about to head to the gym and head to the school building. But the woman grabs my sleeves after a few steps.
Sasaki-san, あれ?
She's pointing at the white mountain.
何が?
よく見てください。雪が。
An avalanche? I strain my eyes and see that something big is flowing down the surface of the mountain. The large buildup of snow has caused an avalanche. I recall the mud that sunk the town. Is the snow going to completely cover the town now? My chest aches at the agitation. I grab my chest over my clothes. I can't faint at a time like this.
あなたは体育館の人々に全部のドアを閉めるように言ってください。
I try to speak as calmly as I can to the panicking woman.
私は犬を集めます。
She's looking at me in surprise. I'm surprised as well at my words. I'm going to repeat myself, but I don't like dogs. I hate those honest, obedient, faithful creatures. But my mouth is speaking on its own.
犬だって一生懸命生きてきたんです。一匹だって死なせたくありません。
I let it all out, push the woman towards the gym, and start running to catch the dogs. The dogs were scared of the earthquake. They're paying no attention to the avalanche. I frantically gathered the carefree dogs.
何やってんのユカッチ。
I take the dogs to the gym, and Hibari yells at me as soon as she sees me.
自分でもわかんない。
I answer her with harsh words.
バカじゃないの？そうかも。
She looks astonished, then sighs.
びっくりしたよ。ごめん。
I know it can't be helped. I'm astounded myself.
じゃあもうこれで全部？
I add up the dogs I brought with me with the ones already here.
あと一匹だ。
I remember one more dog.
ユカッチ！
I push the dogs onto Hibari and run outside again. I know the last remaining dog really well. He's a rebellious dog. He's lonely, so he messes with other dogs to pay attention to him. But when the other dogs do pay attention to him, he shows his fangs and drives them away. He has a small body, so it's nothing threatening, but his personality naturally hasn't been accepted by the other dogs. Others have kept him away as a troublesome dog. He's always isolated. But he doesn't need to be isolated at a time like this. I curse inside my head. Fortunately, I find a dog nearby. He's sitting by a fallen cage. I go near him and he looks up at me with his large eyes and whines. Oh, sorry about that. Was changing the window position.
どうせ遠くへ離れるつもりもないんだから一緒にいればいいのに。
I sigh with relief and pick up the dog in my arms. I run to the gym, but my hands slip and drop him. My hands are covered in blood.
あなた怪我してるの？
I ask, but the dog lies on the snow and doesn't try to move. I bite my lip, fear the disgusting sensation of the blood, and pick him up again, but it's too late. White advances from my side and engulfs me. I thought that it would look white inside the snow, but it actually lets no light in, and it's completely black. My limbs are held down by the snow, so I can't move. My body's pressured by the snow, and I can't tell up from down. Since I covered my face with my arms by reflex, I barely have some air around my face. But I'm sure this will go away quickly. It seems my luck has come to an end. The dog is still in my arms.
生きてる？
His body is warm, but there's no reply. Such a small dog is injured and has such a burden on his body on top of that. Just imagining how he may feel makes me depressed.
助けられなくてごめんね。でも一人じゃなくてよかったよね。私はよかったよ。
My words sound like an excuse. The dog is still silent. I keep talking to him, but I'm quickly unable to continue speaking. My enemy wasn't just lack of oxygen. The ice that's pushing against my body is draining strength from my body. I'm going to turn into a cold corpse at this rate. It doesn't sound like anything special to me now. It's just that I'll be turning into one of the many corpses I saw until now. The only feeling I have about my life is that it was long, and I don't feel anything else. It's just like when I'm about to fall asleep, but the difference is that many different images pop up and brightly pass before me. It's not only light, but I can feel and hear them as well. They say your life flashes before your eyes when you die, but I wouldn't know. Many different pieces are brilliantly being projected before me. It's so quick that it takes me to one place after another. If the flashing of life was this beautiful, I wish I'd seen it before. But the glitters eventually fade away into the darkness. Once all the lights in my mind go out and it becomes lonely. What's remaining of my mind tells me that this is the end. I close my eyes then. No, my eyes are already closed, so I know this is a strange description. But I certainly did something just now to close my eyes to stop myself from thinking. And it seems I fainted. I was rescued shortly after this, but according to the people who dug me out, I was completely limp and cold, just like a corpse. I was alive even after I was left in the snow for close to an hour. I have actually no idea how, like, bad an avalanche can be. So, with my limited knowledge, like I thought when people got hit by an avalanche, they would instantly die because, the pressure would just kill them straight out, right? Maybe if you are saved fast enough, you can actually survive it? I don't know. So to me, reading the whole thing was kind of strange. I don't understand the difficult explanation, but they tell me something like this happens from time to time when someone's body temperature quickly drops. It's nothing common, but it's not a miracle either. But the fact that I was dug out is a miracle, and they told me never to do such a reckless thing again. But I wanted to protest by saying that I wasn't buried in the snow because I wanted to be. Anyway, I was in a state of apparent death for a long time. I was talking with someone during that time, but it may have all been a dream. But I don't think it was a dream. We persona now? Is this like your shadow? That's the first thing that popped into my head. The girl is mad and looking away. It seems my role is to soothe her. I have to say something to calm her down, but she keeps talking so quickly that I don't have time to interject. She gets mad and stomps on the ground. Sure you are. Sure. I actually prefer the cold rather than the heat. She stomps the ground again, so I use the chance to say a few things to her. She doesn't listen to the end and goes into a tantrum again. I quickly answer back. It's not a lie. There are things in this world that shouldn't be seen, and some things can't be helped even after you find out about it. Truth isn't always kind to people. It may look nice, but it may drive you off. Then it's less scary not to be kind from the start, right? It's sometimes scary to have light reveal everything and have things be kind to you. I agree with this statement. No, it's not. I think that's pretty logical. That's something you'll eventually understand. You know, I also understand the point of view of being a child like this. I definitely understand that. children are really they're easily excited, they're like excitable. They're really children, you know? They don't have a lot of experience. Everything they see is like something new. It feels nice. But as you grow older, you have this mentality that everything's just the same, and to me, that's like weighing me down. I hate that feeling. It's not something that's easily changed though for me. Like when I play a game or something, I keep thinking, damn, after I learn the mechanics and stuff, it's basically doing the same thing over and over again, rinse and repeat. That's a game. When it comes to work, it's also the same. Once you do work, once you know how to do your work, it's basically doing the same thing over and over again. It's in a way, it's kind of depressing, but I kind of just figure out that that's just how life is. It's a lot of repetition over and over again, and you just have to find some sort of thing to make you feel happy while doing those repetitions. It used to really weigh me down and make me despair thinking about it, but I sort of just embraced it. It really made me feel down thinking about it before. But now, not really anymore. As long as it's a repetition that you like, it's okay. You may be scared of them, but that doesn't mean you'd hate them. You still like them. We're not resenting them. We're just scared. I think it's because we're not that right. We can't help but be scared of them when we're not right. I don't know. I used to have the same mentality. Man, I kind of hate it that the fact that I am so similar to Yuka instead of the people that are better in my eyes, like Tsukasa, Takuma. Well, Takuma's done some fucked up shit, but technically before he did something stupid, he was a decent guy. And Tanomura, I can't believe Yuka is the one that's most similar to me. Like, I hate this. I hate this. Yes, I think so too, but still. The girl will not listen to me anymore. She keeps talking, splutters out, bites her lip, and glares into the distance. I'm at a loss, so I can only watch as she continues to be mad. I wake up inside the gym. My body is wrapped in something soft and warm. In front of me is Amako-san's worried-looking face. It seems Amako-san talked to me as I started speaking, but I can't hear anything. Amako-san's moving his lips like a goldfish, and he looks a bit cute. I smile and he makes a strange face.
大丈夫ですか?
I finally hear his voice. I first apologize to him, then ask him about the dog who was buried with me. I want to know the fate of the rebellious dog I was holding. Mako-san's answer is what I expected, but how can this be? I don't like dogs, and what I expected happened, so why can't I stop crying? Oh my god, really? It's already the epilogue? Oh my god, I really cut off the ending really short in the last episode. I apologize. You know, I feel what Yuka's feeling there. I feel like that's actually a good way to end Yuka's story. Just because you know about what's gonna happen and what... Like, just because you're self-aware about what's happening doesn't mean you can control your emotions. I am a very self-aware person. I lie to myself a lot, saying that things don't bother me and stuff like that. But in my subconscious, a lot of things do bother me. And I'm just conditioned to actually believe what I tell myself. Do you guys do that thing when you go to the mirror every single day and you say, today is gonna be a good day? I used to do that. I used to do that to make myself feel better and hope that today's gonna be a good day. But I stopped doing that now. Maybe I should start doing it again, I don't know. Alright, let's continue. I didn't expect this to be the epilogue, by the way. So, like I said, I do apologize that I cut the ending short. It's still a decent chunk of story, though. I think I can have 20 more minutes of the epilogue. Or like 20 more minutes of the story here. Just for the epilogue alone. That day, I take Aroe and go outside the school. Recently, the sky's been so clear day after day that it's hard to believe it used to be cloudy every single day. The snow is starting to melt and the ground is slushy. Aroe must not like the rubber boots. She tries to take them off every time I take my eyes off of her. So I have to scold her each time. Aroe has been repeating those old words for quite a while now. She's saying it at a rhythm, so it's more like a song now. While we continue to walk, I think how easy things would be if she really did listen to what I say. I want to go where Aroe's house is, but the ice over the pond is thin and it'd be dangerous to walk over it. And we can't take a boat since there's ice over it. We just stand by the pond.
ここでもいいかな?
I ask Aroe, but she of course has no objections. Actually, I don't think she knows why she's been brought here. I stand by the water, face the direction I think the house is, and join my hands in a prayer. In my mind, I report to Aroe's older sister and make a bit of an excuse. Aroe stands next to me and joins our hands in a prayer, even though I haven't said anything. I'm a bit moved, but Aroe murmurs a sutra, so I'm dejected. I'm embarrassed because she's been taught something weird and because she did such a thing now. We return to the school and come across Tanomura-san and the others working with cotton work gloves.
しばらく学校を離れてサボってたからね。その分働かなきゃ。
Yeah, my only question is that, is an avalanche really something you can, like, have and then not have a lot of repercussions? I would think that they would be a lot more devastated after the avalanche because more people died, but I guess it's not that serious? I don't know. Tanomura-san laughs cheerfully. Even though his crime has been dismissed, there's a deep awkwardness between him and the others. Tanomura-san should see that, but he doesn't even show it and is cheerful as always.
向こうの町にはさ、いろんなジャンルの技術者がいるんだって。こっちは若くて元気な学生が多いし、協力すればいろいろとできそうだよ。
He smiles, then tells me about the plan he's working on with Honda-san and the others.
すぐにうまくはいかないだろうけど、夢が広がるな。頑張らなくちゃ。
He may not be pushing himself, but rather simply thinking cheerfully from the bottom of his heart.
最近タバコを吸っていないですね。
I say something I just realized.
うわ、すっかり忘れてた。
He acts surprised and goes to look for someone to give him cigarettes.
忘れてたなら吸わなきゃいいんだよ。
Kawase-san is there when I notice. She pats Aroe's shoulder, who's squatting and doing something on the ground. She forces her to turn around, grabs her hand and forces something into it.
ひまわりの種だよ。
ひまわりですか?
Kawase-san nods.
もうすぐ雪が溶けるじゃない。そしたら地面が見えるでしょ。このままじゃ食べ物もなくなっちゃうから作物を育てようと思うのよ。作物が育って収穫できるようになれば私たちはずっとここで生きていけるわ。
Can you eat sunflowers? I know you can eat the seeds, but can you eat the whole thing?
はあ、 でもなんでひまわりなんですか？
すごいでしょ。今日犬の餌を取りに行ったらちょうど鳥の餌のコーナーにそれを見つけてね。そこでパッとひらめいたのよ。これで食糧難が解決できるって。ひまわ
Whatever.
りの種からそこまで考えちゃう私って天才だよね。
は
何よあんた、私が思いつきで言ってるだけで、雪が溶けてその時になったらもう忘れてるとか飽きてるとかどうでもよくなって違うことに夢中になってるとかそう言いたいわけ？
You know, I can be really analytical about what Kawase-san is doing. Like, basically, the reason why Kawase-san is saying what she's saying is because she needs that confidence boost from praising her own achievements, because without her doing it, no one's gonna praise her for it. It makes sense from my perspective, but it still doesn't feel good when you see someone do it that often, right? When you see someone like praising themselves so often. It's understandable though. Like, she probably has a really fragile ego. Not to say that's a negative thing. I'm just like trying to rationalize what she's doing.
いや別に。
それにひまわりだっていいじゃない。ひまわりの種って種だからきっと栄養とかたくさんあるんだよ。
みんなでひまわりの種ばっかり食べて暮らすんですか？
I wonder if like people actually think about this much. About why people act the way they act. I like to think about it. Because to me, there's always some sort of motivation in what you do, right? Even though it's subconscious. I don't know, I always find it fun thinking about why people act the way they act. Even though it might be, like, not the best thing when you know the truth about why they do it. Like, it kinda makes you feel disillusioned when someone's doing something nice, but in the back of it all, it's like he's doing it for himself. But at the end of the day, he's still doing something nice, right? So it's okay.
リスみたいで可愛いじゃん。
どれくらい植えればひまわりだけで生きていけるんでしょうね。
うるさいな。とにかくいっぱい植えるんだよ。そして夏になったら街中にあの背の高いオレンジ色の花が揺れるんだよ。ほら、あの詩みたいにさ、一面のひまわり、一面のひまわり。
それ菜の花じゃないですか？
そんなつまんないツッコミは今重要なの？
いや、
とにかく司も協力してよ。ほら。
Kawase-san grabs my hand and hands me the whole bag.
協力って何すればいいんですか？
他の人にも種配っておいてよ。
そんなの種をまくときに配ればいいじゃないですか。
だってその時私が忘れてたらどうすんの？
やっぱり忘れる気満々なんですね。
うるさいよ。司なんか黙って私の言う通りにしてればいいんだから。
困ったな。
ほら、アロエの面倒は私が見てるから安心していってらっしゃい。
She drives me away as if driving away a cat. A heavy bag of sunflower seeds is in my hand now. She says hand them out, but who can I hand them out to? And what can I say when I do? The snow has just started melting, and the people at the school are busy with what's before them right now. I'm at a complete loss, so I walk aimlessly around the school.
お兄様。
Taiko calls out to me. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, that's disturbing. Please don't call me that. She has stopped wearing those ceremonial clothes, and she does her hair normally now. She's fitting in nicely with the scene when she's preparing meals with others.
料理は覚えましたか？
なかなか難しいですね。侮っていました。でも奥が深くてやりがいのある仕事だと思います。
Taiko diligently talks about her enthusiasm. Her fingers are covered with band-aids, and it shows her extraordinary diligence, and also her extraordinary clumsiness.
おかしいんですよ。何でもできると思っていたあやさんも料理は全然ダメだったんです。 私なんかよりもずっと。
I wouldn't have noticed about the band-aid if the description wasn't saying anything. Taiko laughs with that. I try to imagine someone who's worse at cooking than her, but I can't imagine it. The people who were part of the Daichi Society are at this school now. They don't have a good impression of Taiko, and she was the enemy leader for the people at the school, so they hate her even more. I think her position is a difficult one. There actually was a menacing atmosphere, but nothing serious occurred, probably because Honda-san took a lot of precautions against it. They're slowly starting to get along now. She may be able to become a normal girl at this rate.
私は命を懸けてでも皆様の役に立つ人間になるんです。絶対にやり遂げてみせます。
That is, if she can fix her extreme personality. But Taiko looks happy. It must partly be because she can act as a normal person now. But it must mostly be because she's living at a school that she's been so interested in. She looks around the school whenever she has the time, and she comes to report to me about her findings with shining eyes. Every time, I wish I could show her a well-furnished school where students actually attend instead of these wrecked buildings. And if possible, I would like for her to attend school. I'm secretly thinking about letting her go to school when society is restored.
学校の図書館って案外本が少ないんですね。不思議です。ここに通う生徒さんたちは本を読まないで一体何をして遊ぶんだろう。
They play with their friends. They don't really read books much. I went to a prestigious school, and not even in my school a lot of people read books. Trust me. Even the smart kids don't like to read books. They like to read novels. Oh, you know, not non-fiction books, I mean. I give her sunflower seeds as she ponders.
これは
She tilts her head in wonder, so I tell her Kawase-san's words that she wants to cover the town with sunflowers, and that we would be eating sunflower seeds like squirrels.
川瀬さんって面白い方ですね。
Taiko smiles, carefully wraps a seed in a handkerchief, and puts it in her pocket.
この街の景色がひまわりでいっぱいになったところ、私も見たいです。あ、そうだ、ほら覚えてますか？お寺で文献見つけた話。あの後調べたら分かったことがあるんですよ。すごくいい話なんですよ。この町はですね、古代には実は。
タイコちゃん
Aya-san is standing by the kitchen and glaring at us.
はい、ごめんなさい。
Sorry about that. Had to drink some water. Taiko jumps, then runs back to the kitchen. What a busy girl. I then head to the shack at a corner of the school ground. The place is like a prison, and Kuwagata-san's imprisoned there. Since he has kept quiet, nobody forces him to stay here, but he voluntarily wanted this treatment.
Yeah.
Kuwagata-san's sitting with his legs crossed in the back of the dark room, and he cheerfully greets me.
学校のみんなはどう？元気にやってますか？
I tell him exactly what's going on.
ああ、そりゃよかった。なるほど。そんなもんなんだ。この間までまるっきり逆のことに賛成していたのにな。今は新しい希望に燃えてますか？面白いもんです。
You know, Kuwagata, I think when people are this on edge, when they see something extreme, most people would just go with the flow instead of thinking about what's actually good and what's bad. So, I kind of understand why people follow him in the first place, but I also understand that they're actually, you know, really just under pressure. I don't like it, but that's just how people are. It's kind of sad in a way. I wish more people are actually self-aware with what they're doing every single day of their lives. Well, not everything, but the important things. Like, siding with someone is actually an important thing, right? And I feel like most people are just swept away instead of actually thinking about things. I hear his laughter from underneath the cloth wrapped around his face.
まあ僕にはもう縁のないことですけどね。もう言ったらどうですか。ここにいたら僕のクズが映りますよ。
I think that Kuwagata is gonna, like, kill himself or something. It's definitely something he would do. Then again, he might be afraid of death, so who knows. He laughs. I speak to him.
小池のぞみさんっていたでしょ。彼女は親御さんとうまくいってるんですかね。難しい様子でしたが。
なんでこんなところに閉じ込められている僕に聞くのかな。
He shakes his head in disbelief.
いや、そこに畳んであるマフラー、小池さんからじゃないんですか。
よくわかったもんですね。
当てずっぽうです。それで彼女大丈夫だったんですか。お母さんとものすごく揉めていたと聞いてますが。
なんだかんだ言って和解するしかないみたいです。ひどいこと言ってたのにそんなもんなんだね。ああいうのって僕にはよくわからないですな。
Kuwagata-san hangs his head. I can't see his expression because of the cloth, but I think he's smiling. I think depending on what you did, any kind of mistakes you did in the past is, like, forgivable. Depending on the severity, of course. Like, if it's really, really unforgivable, then... Of course, no one's gonna forgive you, but... I don't think Koike Nozomi did stuff that was truly unforgivable. And also the mom, right? Well, they were dumb. And, like, they got involved in the Daichi society before the world was even bad. So they were inside of a cult already. So technically, she was being a fucking idiot.
まあ仲良くできるんならしてればいいんですよ。
そうですね。
でも司君、
His eyes are glittering as he stares at me.
何ですか。
僕は今でも自分が間違っていたとは思っていないんですよ。僕は負けたからいけなかったんだ。それだけのことです。
Our eyes meet and silence follows.
まあこの勝ち負けってのが一番肝心なとこなんだけれどね。
You know, that's what me and my friends were saying when we were studying history. In the end, the winner is the one that paint the history, right? They're the one who writes history, and they're the ones who write which one group is bad and which one group is actually good. Of course, like, history itself is already painted in a way that the writer is trying to manipulate the story. But as a smart reader, you definitely see bits and pieces of how the true story is gonna be, right? Or not even a smart reader, it really depends on what you believe in. That's something that I really like about stories or reading in general. It's up to your interpretation. Like, the author might be pushing his own agenda to you, but if you want to think in a different way from how he approaches the story, then that's okay. That's part of the freedom of imagination, I suppose. He looks down and laughs in desperation.
そうだ。
I didn't used to think this way, by the way. I always used to think I always want to know what the author is trying to say. But now, I feel like I still want to know, but I also have my own interpretation, and if my interpretation doesn't align with his, I'll just stick with mine. And if he's trying to push his interpretation, that's okay too. I'll stick with my belief. I place a small amount of sunflower seeds inside. He looks at them suspiciously.
これはひまわりの種です。
I explained to him Kawase-san's intentions, but it seems I only confused him even more.
なんで僕が種植えなんか。
その気になったらでいいです。そのうち雪がなくなってクワガタさんの気分が良くなっていたら埋めてみてください。
Kuwagata-san doesn't reply, but stares at the sunflower seeds. I leave Kuwagata-san's place and realize that I'm walking with light steps. It seems I'm enjoying the task of handing sunflower seeds to everyone. Did Grandfather Cherry Blossom feel this way when he scattered the ashes? I want to give the sunflower seeds to more people, and I remember Yuka. Yuka is sitting alone at the corner of the school compound and looking up at the sky. I sit down next to her on the rubble.
いい天気ですね。
I say this.
ええ、良いお天気です。
Yuka answers in a quiet voice. The sun creates a shadow on her face, and I think her face looks sad. Yuka takes her eyes off of the sky and stares at the town of rubble in front of her. I do the same. The town has changed a bit. It's still a dreary scene with rocks and concrete lying on top of each other, but the glossy skin of melting snow adds a cute glamour, changing the impression of the scenery. It's a pleasant scene. I create a melody inside my head while I crack open a sunflower seed and eat it. Countryside's savoriness fills my mouth. I hear something collapse somewhere.
雪が溶けかけています。
Yuka says this.
1ヶ月もすれば雪はすべてなくなるでしょうね。
それまでずっとたくさんの死体が雪の下で眠り続けるんですね。
I look at her in surprise at her sudden words, but she's looking straight ahead with a normal expression.
そうですね。
雪が溶けたら止まっていた彼らの時間がまた動き始めてしまうんですね。
そうなりますね。
私どうしても想像してしまうんです。今は氷の中で綺麗なままの人たちも暖かくなり始めてむき出しになったらってどうなると思いますか？
They're gonna rot. She keeps looking straight ahead as she asks. I'm not too sure what the intention is behind the question.
腐ってしまうでしょうね。
Indeed.
ええ、恐ろしい話ですよ。人が腐るなんて当たり前のことだし、ずっと凍りついたままでいることはできないと知ってはいるんですが、雪がなくなるのはそれでもいいことなんでしょうか？本当のことなら全てが白日の下にさらされてしまうのが絶対正しいことなんでしょうか？全てを美しく覆い隠してしまうのはそんなに悪いことなんでしょうか？どっちが正しいんでしょうか？
She then turns to me.
尼子さんはどう思いますか？
She looks serious, but I can only scratch my head.
さあどうでしょ
さあって。
う。いい悪いは僕には分かりませんから。
そうですか。そうですよね。
Yuka hangs her head. I feel sorry for her, so I continue talking.
まあ雪が溶けないのなら氷の上で生きていく方法を考えるだけです。溶けたのなら違うやり方があるはずです。どちらでも一生懸命やるだけですよ。あ、でもわがままを言わせてもらえば溶けてくれないと困るかもしれません。
困る？
ええ、凍りついた大地の上じゃひまわりが育ちませんから。
ひまわりですか？
She looks confused. I take her hand and place some sunflower seeds in it.
川瀬さんからです。雪がなくなったら土に埋めるんだそうです。
はあ。
Yuka gives a half-hearted reply.
川瀬さんは種を食用にするとか言ってましたけど、僕は食べなくてもいいと思うな。大輪のひまわりがたくさん咲いたらこの寂しい町もきっと賑やかになりますよ。
賑やかですか？
そうです。ひまわり嫌いですか？
嫌いじゃないですよ。子供の時学校で育てたし懐かしいです。
それはよかった。
Yuka goes silent. It's troubling, so I take a deep breath and continue.
だけどひまわりってこんな寒い町で育つのかな。僕は育たないと思ってるんですが、でも育ったらいいですよね。
But Yuka's still silent. She's staring at the sunflower seeds in her hand and thinking about something. I don't know what she's thinking about right now, but it'd be great if it's about something good. A light breeze passes by and blows my front hair up. You know, this interaction with Yuka and also Tsukasa is reminding me of myself and my brother. It's kind of... I feel ashamed of it. But it does remind me of myself and my brother. Like, my brother would tell me a story and I would give a half-hearted reply and sometimes not say anything, and he would continue, trying not to make the awkward atmosphere continue. But I really just don't know what to reply sometimes. That's me, but I don't know if Yuka is feeling the same thing. This scene just reminds me of my own experience. Above us recite the blue sky and the sun. The sun shines high and bright, and in the sky manifests a deep blue. And through that blue sky flies a white bird. What? There's gotta be a real epilogue. There's no way this is just the ending. I guess I'll be quiet while you guys listen to this.
Vorbei an manchem lieben Ort, bis zu der liebsten Haus, bis zu der liebsten Haus. Dort schaut sie zum Fenster heimlich hinein, belauscht ihren Blick und Schritt, gibt meine Grüße scherzend ab und nimmt die ihren mit. Kein Briefchen brauch ich zu schreiben mehr, die Träne selbst geb ich ihr. Oh, sie verträgt sie sicher nicht, gar eifrig dient sie mir, gar eifrig dient sie mir. Bei Tag, bei Nacht, im Wachen, im Traum, hier gilt das alles gleich. Wenn sie nur wandern kann, dann ist sie überreich. Sie wird nicht müd, sie wird nicht matt, der Weg ist stets ihr neu. Sie braucht nicht Locken, braucht nicht Lohn, die Taub ist so mir treu, die Taub ist so mir treu. Drum heg ich sie auch so treu an der Brust, versichert des schönsten Gewinns. Sie heißt die Sehnsucht, kennt ihr sie? Kennt ihr sie, die Boot in Treuen sind, die Boot in Treuen sind. Drum heg ich sie auch so treu an der Brust, versichert des schönsten Gewinns. Sie heißt die Sehnsucht, kennt ihr sie? Kennt ihr sie, die Boot in Treuen
That can't be the end, right? There's no way. There's gotta be like some sort of epilogue or something, right? What? That didn't even say Finn, it said fine. Or maybe that's like a German thing, because I'd assume that the song was like German. Really? That was the end? Okay, so couple of thoughts on the story. The ending felt a bit rushed. I wish there was actually a couple more endings to the story. The overall story was solid though, but it does show that it's fiction, the fact that they don't try to tell you about the bigger picture of the story. Like, why the heck did no one came to rescue us, right? And some of the, like, the pacing was just kind of too fast at the second half. But it has a good moral message. This story was just a story about hope. I was actually thinking about a lot of bad stuff, considering when I saw the cover art, it was Aroe naked, and I thought something bad was gonna happen to Aroe, I have no doubt. But as it turns out, there was nothing bad happening to Aroe. There was a lot of other bad things that happened to everyone else instead of Aroe, but then again, Aroe did die on the normal ending. So that is something bad, but I expected something worse, you know, like being actually tormented, being raped or something. I don't know. Because it looks like she's just lost in her own world in that title screen, right? So I expected a lot more bad stuff that happened to Aroe. Still, I give this game a solid, I'd say 8. 8 out of 10. It can be improved. It had a lot of potential, especially since the characters are so strong. Except for Kawase. I still don't think Kawase-san is that good. You know, Hibari, as a character, personally. Yuka, while I don't like Yuka, she does remind me a lot of myself, and she's a real person. Someone like her is truly real. Takuma, you're a bit too extreme. I like you, but you are kind of extreme. I don't know what else to say. This was an enjoyable story though. It was pretty compact. It didn't feel like stuff where it was going a bit too long. In fact, compared to Tsubahibi, stuff were a bit too short in this one. This one kind of benefit more for more exposition. But I guess that's the end for Swan Song. So next visual novel. I still have no idea what visual novel I'm going to be playing, by the way. I have Yuno. I have Chaos Head. I haven't bought Aokana yet, but I have Aokana. There's those. I also have, what do you call it? Let me check. Newton and the Apple Tree. I have that. Also, whatever I'm doing, I heard from my friend that Rance is being worked on. Rance Quest. Whatever I'm doing, when Rance 01 comes out to like in English, when it comes out in English, I will be straight jumping into Rance. Just giving you guys a forewarning. I love Rance games. It will show when I make the playthrough that I am very biased towards Rance. And it might not be for everyone. The story might not be for everyone, but I love it. But yeah, I guess this is the finale for Swan Song. I appreciate everyone who enjoyed the story with me along. And I hope you guys enjoyed the next one that I'm gonna do. Might be Yuno. Probably gonna be Yuno. Or Totono. There's still Totono. I could potentially play Totono. But alright, thank you all for watching. This has been quite a good one. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.